Hi, it's Benet from Universal Coaching Systems here, and today I'm going to give you a really quick tutorial on how to stitch audio files together for your coaching podcast. And what we'll be using today is a simple and free little audio tool called Audacity. It's an open source software. I'm a huge fan of open source, and I run my whole business using open source software because I just love that movement and really believe in it. Okay, so what we're looking at here is the Audacity screen once you've opened up a new file. So what you will have done at this stage is you will have gone to the link that I give you in the text, downloaded the software to your computer. It works on Linux, it works on Mac, and it works on PC, so you'll be fine. You download the software, and you install it on your computer, and then once you've got it running, you go to File and New File, and then once you've done that, you get a screen that looks just like this. Now, there's a lot of stuff happening at the top, and it might seem a little bit daunting, which is why I wanted to give you this little sneak peek, because there's really not that much to it. Truth be told, I use about 4 buttons in this whole top level. And I'll demonstrate those for you just shortly. So let's see, for your podcast, usually what happens is you've got little pieces of it. You've got a little intro spiel. You might have some introduction kind of music that you want to play. You'll have your actual recorded interview, which you will have already recorded in Zoom. And you might want to have a little plug or a commercial for some little sponsor that's sponsoring your podcast. And you may even want to have a close. Now, all of these different pieces don't need to be recorded in one go. That takes a whole lot of pressure off of you. But of course, you've got to be able to stitch those bits together really easily. And that is where this tool comes in really handy. So I have already recorded my interview with the person that I've interviewed for the podcast episode, and that's sitting on my hard drive. So that's ready to go. But what I don't have yet is my introduction to welcome you to the show. I don't have my little sponsorship note, because Life Coach Office always sponsors Coach Pep Talk. And I don't have my guest introduction. I prefer to introduce my guests in post-production just because it lets us get straight into the questions in the interview time, but that's just a personal choice of mine. So I'm just going to show you how quick and easy this is to do. So I like to start my podcast by welcoming you to the show. So all I do is I go and hit the record button up at the top here. So here we go. Welcome to another episode of Coach Pep Talk, the podcast for people who run their own coaching businesses. Each week, blah, 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 blah. Okay, you get the gist. That's my introduction. So if I didn't like that, that's the track. It's just recorded everything I've said. If I don't like this track and I messed up, and that often happens, I record things millions of times, you just click this little X button here and you get rid of it and you can start again. Welcome to Coach Pep Talk, the podcast for people who run their own coaching businesses. Each week, blah, 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 blah. And there's my intro. If I want to, if I'm going to have lots of tracks, it can be handy to actually name your track. So I clicked on this little arrow, I clicked name, and I will just call this Coach Pep Talk Intro. And okay, and all that just gives it a little label so that when I have lots of files down here, then I know which one is which. Okay. Before we go on and do the next track, I want to show you how easy it is to edit this. So I've got this. So I told you I used 4 tools. So far I've used this record button. I've used the stop button. And now I'm going to use this little like text editing tool. You just go in, you can highlight, say, I don't like all that space at the end, and you hit your delete key, dook, and it's gone. And you might find too, I do this all the time, that you say a couple of too many more ums than you'd like. So you just go and you find that little piece and you highlight that bit and you can just take that out and is gone. It's pretty cool. Okay, so let's say we're happy with this. We've edited it to our heart's content. Now we just click with our little text tool where we want our next track to start, and we go and press record. Coach Pep Talk is proudly brought to you by Life Coach Office. Oops, and you heard that I messed up, so I'm gonna just click X, and I'm gonna click my little text tool there again, and I'm gonna try again. Coach Pep Talk is proudly brought to you by Life Coach Office. And I'm going to tell you all these wonderful things about Life Coach Office. There we go. And you can see I've accidentally overlapped and there's a little bit of space here. So grab it with my text tool, delete it. And now I'll show you the fourth tool that I use. It's this little one with the arrows on side to side. Click that and you can just drag your file to where you want them to start. Perfect. Okay, let's imagine that now I'm ready to import my interview file, which has been automatically recorded in Zoom. I'm going to go up to the File menu and go to Import. And I'm going to import audio. What that's going to do is it's going to navigate me to my Zoom file. And I will just go ahead. My Zoom account automatically knows where it is. You might actually have to navigate to yours, but I do this all the time, so it knows where to go. So now we go. It's importing that audio file. And I'm actually not going to let the whole thing load because it's just going to take a long time. So I'm going to stop. But it's imported something, so that's great. You obviously will have let that all load properly. But just to keep the video short, I'm going to cheat a little bit. So now I've got my little double arrow tool. You can see that this is my big fat interview that's come in. And I hope you can see that. I might zoom in just a little bit for you. I'm just dragging that to align it to the right thing. Now you can go up and you can press play. Let's just do it actually. I'll see. I have no idea if this is going to come across or not when we play it. Coach Pep Talk is proudly brought to you by Life. So you can hear it and you can go in and you can make your edits. If you wanted to add anything to the end, just like we've done before, scroll to the end, get your little text tool, click there and say, and then record your final track. It's been a pleasure having you on the show today. And audience, thank you so much for listening. Please head over to iTunes and like the show. That will really help us out. Have a great week, everyone, and happy coaching. There we go. And my show is all ready to go. I go up to my file menu and I say export audio. And then you set all of your saving instructions. It gives you another screen where you can set your metadata. Let's just call this test show, and I'll save it to my desktop. And I just want you to see where you can enter your metadata. You can enter your artist name, your track title, album title, track number, year, genre, comments, and that'll basically just assign some data to your file that kind of sits behind the scenes in the properties. And once you're happy with that, you say, okay, and your file exports. Once you've got that file exported and on your computer, then you're ready to upload that into Soundcloud, which is your distribution method for your podcast. And we'll talk about that later on in the article. So I just wanted to give you that sneak peek into Audacity so that you can see that stitching sound files together actually is pretty easy, and you can actually get started and do it for free. Now, saying that, I look forward to the day when I've got a whole crew behind me doing this for me, but I'm happy that I know the ropes and I can share it with you. Happy coaching, everyone.